Inviting you to feel the power of the first shift.
To God be the glory, my brother. Thank you so much. You are such an inspiration to many of folk that's here in Elgin. I'm in West Dundee. I'm a Dundeeite now, not an Elginite anymore, but I love you. I can even give a number of prayers that we as a people continue to grow and to be there for one another. Please, people, let's get on board. Check on your neighbors, check on your friends, and just give an inspiration that life is worth living.
It's the first shift, weekday mornings from 6 until 10, right here on WRMN.
Welcome to Out to Lunch with WRMN. That's right, WRMN 1410, taking you around the world and, of course, out to lunch every day starting at noon. Well, 6 after, sure. What's 6 minutes between friends, especially friends that want to listen to the news. But every day starting at about noon, we take ourselves out to lunch. You can take us out to lunch too. Out to lunch is a great grab bag of all of the different shenanigans that are happening around the area of the Fox River Valley, all of the shenanigans that are happening here at WRMN, and hopefully as many voices as we can get into 2 hours of fun as we possibly can. Today on the show, I've got a couple of guests. It's not just me. It's not just Ben Demonium. I'm sure he'll call in eventually for it. I'm sure we will also get some regular callers as well as we walk through the day. If you want to be a first-time caller, if you want to be a regular caller, if you just want to be a guy that has a phone and you called a radio station, that's 847-931-1410 to hop in on the conversation as we go through. I was talking about those voices. One of the voices today will be Fire Chief Rob Sagan. He will be in today to talk about the Elgin to host the 32nd annual Firefighter Memorial Service. As it goes from there, the Elgin Fire Department has some information on that. He will be in at the bottom of the hour. And then we also have June 2nd, the memorial for Captain Stanley Ballas and firefighter Michael Whalen. This will be the 50th anniversary of that, and we'll talk to the chief as we go. More and more people that we are talking to today. Of course, we're talking to Johnny Z over at the city of Aurora. He's going to come back and let us know all about the proposal to repurpose the downtown Broadway properties. He's got the city of Aurora launches a new civic engagement website. Your voice provides the residents with enhanced community input and up-to-date information on new projects. So they'll be joining me in the second hour. Again, if you want to jump in, if you've got something on your mind, if you've got something you want to talk about, go ahead and give us a call at 847-931-1410. I would be remiss if I did not talk about the Tuesday deals. That's right, Tuesday deals too good to pass up. Supertramp tribute at the Rouse Center. Head to Crystal Lake May 17th, and a pair of tickets with Vine and Plate. This is a $110 date for $30. Take that other partner out there, take somebody out to go see Supertramp and get a nice dinner at the Vine and Plate. Branson Country Music Hall. Select your pair of tickets. Choose from Amazing Pets, Grand Jubilee, Comedy Jamboree, Down Home Country, and more. That is a $100 value. You get it right now for $25. Ringling Manson and Brewery. Take a quick drive to Barbo and enjoy 2 admissions to tour the history and beauty of the Al Ringling Mansion. Stay and dine with this added deal. That's $70 value, $20. And I know we've got people that are waiting for those golf deals. Well, I've got one of them sitting right here in front of me for Hit the links with two great clubs. Experience an executive 9-hole and a 18-hole course. That's Twin Lakes and Hilldale Golf. Two great opportunities to spend the day outdoors. $148 value you can get for $60. That's right. May 14th is National Stars and Stripes Day. What is that? The Stars and Stripes Forever Day, observed on May 14th, is celebrated to honor the American march of the same name, written and composed by John Philip Sousa. It became a national march of the United States in 1987, but that is the other things that are happening along with the deals that are here. Don't forget, we do have a new website that is out there in the world. You can go to WRMN1410.com and see those daily deals that you can get at any time by calling in to the radio show, 847-931-1410. And you can also get that by calling into the Redemption Center. And I believe the Redemption Center is 847. I keep forgetting it. 741. Why can't remember that? 741-7700. 847-741-7700 to get here into the conversation today in the studio. Again, that is 847-931-1410. We've got some news that we want to get through today, some funny things, some exciting things that are here. Of course, we're going to go a little bit outside of New York. We don't necessarily need to talk about New York. Oh my gosh, we've got New York in the news. That's not the trial. Okay, well, I guess it's still funny. So we've got Dublin, New York. I don't know if you guys know these things. They've got these live streams called portals. They are a big circle that they put in major cities, and then they connect to other major cities so that you can see the people in that major city kind of in front of their portal as it goes. Well, if you want to read a little bit more about this, The Hill has the option there. I always go for The Hill, Nexstar Media Group, so that's CBS. High factuality centered, great publication that you can go and read. But essentially, Dublin, New York live stream temporarily closes after flashing, grinding, and swearing broadcast. The live stream portal connected to Dublin and New York closed temporarily due to inappropriate behavior in Dublin, prompting operational changes for the visual link. Videos on social media depict individuals in Dublin displaying body parts, showing 9/11 images, and swear words on phone screens at the portal. An incident involved a woman being escorted by Irish police for grinding against the portal. My goodness, that is a brand new sentence right there. I don't know. There is some rivalry from cities that are here, but I don't think it needs to get this far. I don't think it needs to get this obscene. I don't know what kind of I don't know what kind of category you put it into. Obviously, it's bigoted. You can put it into that category at least. But at the same time, it's not necessarily racist. America isn't a race, but it's definitely insensitive. I mean, it's like if we all, I don't know, grabbed potatoes and waved them around in front of it or something. I mean, I guess it's not as horrendous as a bunch of lives that are there, or unless you want to take it as deep as the famine. So, I mean, it's one of those things that it's just, it doesn't seem very, I think they used the word correctly. Inappropriate is what they called it, because it's just at that point, why would you even show up? Why not just kick a live stream on and broadcast it out to the street? Oh, wait, that's what I'm doing right now. But I promise you all, I will not show any other body parts that, or at least body parts that aren't, at least body parts that are covered by my swimsuit area. Police catch a Ghostbuster weapon to stop e-bikes being used in crime. This is a crazy story that's in here too. British police may use a device to disable e-bikes used in crimes. The device, similar to Ghostbusters, stops the e-scooter engines with electromagnetic rays. National Police Chiefs Council Chair Gavin Stevens mentioned this device could be operational soon. So I don't know if you guys know about this in bike lanes as well. You're not really supposed to be driving any kind of powered anything other than pedal power in the bike lanes. So at times what some people will do is they'll get these electric vehicles and these electric bikes, and then they'll just say, you know what, I can just hop on the sidewalk, I can hop on the thing. It's like if I had a motorcycle and I was just jumping like curbs and streets and disobeying traffic lights. In essence, this is what it is. Yes, it is a bicycle frame, but it is a motorized vehicle. So there are ways of stopping things that are electric, electromagnetic pulses, an EMP, if you will actually jar the system because it's sending so much energy into the system that it confuses whatever relays or any of the chips or anything like that, the circuitry that's in it. If all of a sudden I pulse you with a bunch of energy and all of the circuits eat it up, that it's could be something that's rated for 5 volts and all of a sudden I'm getting a 15 volt jump just for a second, it will jar the system enough usually to cause a reset. And that's what they're using. And they're calling it a Ghostbuster device because of the catcher. You take it, you slide it in. Remember, they only use the proton packs just to kind of capture it immediately. To completely capture it, they've got to put it down into one of those packs so that they can slide it into the thing. The too much Ghostbuster lore that's out there. But what they do with this now is to stop the person on the bike instead of using a spike strip, because you don't want to use a spike strip on a 2-wheeled vehicle. If any wheel goes down in a 2-wheel vehicle, you just went 50% to your wheels, right? Imagine driving your car and 50% of your tires blow out. You're going to have some trouble. You're probably going to crash into something. With this, what they're doing, hello officers, good to see you. With this, what they're doing is instead of it being a spike strip, this is an electromagnetic side, so it's not affecting the tires. It's only affecting that electromagnetic engine as it spins around. But that is enough technical talk that we've got going on for today. If we've got some more stuff coming up, more news that's happening here, I'm waiting for some of my friends to show up. One of those friends would be the Fire Chief, Fire Chief Sagan, coming in to talk about the 32nd Annual Firefighter Memorial Service here in Elgin. Also, we're waiting on Johnny Z to come in. He is talking with us about the repurpose of the downtown Broadway properties in Aurora, and then also talking about Aurora launching a new civic engagement website. Lots of information for Out to Lunch going on here today. Don't forget to tune in. Take us with you by downloading the app or visiting WRMN1410.com. My name is Dennis Sonar Green, and I will be right back after these.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Thirst-quenching craft beers await you on tap at the Spotted Fox Ale House in St. Charles with food and drink specials daily. Stop in on Tuesdays for half-off Black Angus burgers and $4 nitro drafts. Fridays feature the Spotted Fox Atlantic Cod Fish Fry. It's hand-dipped in Blue Moon batter, giving it a light, crispy coating, and served on a bed of fries. Grab your boots for country line dancing Saturdays. Watch all the games at the Spotted Fox. Spotted Fox is now hiring, so stop by and apply. Check out SpottedFoxAlehouse.com.
One of the things we're proud of at WRMN is our connection to the local community. In fact, recently we hosted a fundraiser for a longtime listener, Gene Wheeler, and first shift listener, George Rollinson, says it turned out perfectly.
Perfection is a moving target. You try to hit that bullseye and you zone in on it. It moves a little to the left and it moves a little to the right. I don't know. I'd say we hit a bullseye. I don't know how that could have been any better.
Working together to make Elgin better, we are WRMN AM 1410, serving the local community since 1949.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
Dine out with family and friends at Nick's Pizza in Elgin or Crystal Lake. Nick serves up award-winning thin crust and Chicago-style pizza. Eat in or carry out. In addition to Nick's fabulous pizza, let Nick's cater your events with pizza, pasta, Italian beef, and other delicious offerings. Their big banquet rooms can accommodate all your event needs. So, for great pizza in a Northwoods, cabin-style atmosphere, bring family and friends to Nick's. Visit nickspizzapub.com.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-234-0316. 800-234-0316. That's 800-234-0316.
WRMN has been serving Elgin and the Fox Valley for 75 years, featuring a combination of local news, information, and entertainment in the mornings, followed by the radio shopping show for 5 hours each weekday. The first shift with Marky B starts your morning at 6 a.m., and it's always fun when Larry Jones is a part of the show.
Maybe we need to get a radio intern in to help.
Maybe so.
Somebody that you won't have to pay and you can treat them tough.
I can haze them.
Can't haze, you'll get fired. Remember that guy from Northwestern?
Yeah.
Gone.
Did he really do it?
You don't have to really do it. If somebody says you did,
yeah,
good enough. Maybe I'm going to accuse you of hazing me. I don't have to prove it.
And then there'll be a lot of people that come out of the and say that I also hazed
I
him.
remember when Mark hazed me. I've been hazed.
Mark hazed me back in 2012.
2012. I remember in Memphis one time. He was really mean to me.
It's first shift fun and information in the morning, combined with the radio shopping show to save you money. And you get it right here on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook, and WRMN1410.com.
WRMN has proudly served the Fox River Valley for over 70 years. We're located at 14 Douglas Avenue in downtown Elgin. Right next to Studio 14 is our store known as the Redemption Center. You are always invited to stop by and see us to live large for less. The Redemption Center is the place to pick up your on-air orders, shop for certificates, and grab some brochures to learn about what we have to offer. Our Redemption Center phone number is 847-741-7700. As grocery prices rise, take your family out to any of the Tommy's Red Hots location for great food at unbelievably low prices. There's 6 locations to serve you for both dine-in or carry-out. Tommy's has a diverse, delicious menu for you and your family with crispy pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and their famous hot dogs, plus so much more. Don't forget their scrumptious sides like mac and cheese bites. To see their menu and locations, visit Tommy'sRedHots.com today.
Welcome back to WRMN. My name is Dennis Sonar Green, and you are here on Out to Lunch with WRMN. WRMN has a great new shows that we've got coming on here. One of them is this one. Out to Lunch is where we like to bring in all of the different voices for Elgin and the Fox River Valley. One of those voices that I have here on with me today is Fire Chief Rob Soggin. I appreciate you coming in today, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I guess afternoon now.
Afternoon now, right? Busy,
right.
Busy people never know what
That's
time
true.
it is, right?
That's true.
That's there. And I've heard the other adage is if you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person.
That would be a good idea too. Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that very much. Yes. But it's great to be here.
They're busy with something, so it's there. And you guys are pretty busy over at the firehouse. One thing I do want to talk about is I don't think we had a chance to bring you in since we had the issue over at the police station.
Okay,
I don't think we had you in on that.
Nope.
And I'll tell you, fantastic job that you guys went through with the protocols and making sure that everybody was safe from it. Me being a Navy man myself, I like to seeing those drills in action a little bit, because it's one thing to do them repeatedly, over and over and over again, but it's one thing to go, okay, this is real life here.
Correct.
And now we don't know at what point can we back off. So just like every single drill, you treat it like it's real
100%.
and it is something that's there.
100%.
How did your team perform?
Things went great, and it's those are the types of events that you don't know if they're real or not. So you get a situation at a police station, city hall, other targets of that type of activity where somebody mails a suspected unknown substance, and you don't know if it's real or not. And the odds are it's not, but you have to take the course of action that it is until proven otherwise. And that's what we do. So, it looked like a big response. We had the road closed. We had lots of different vehicles there, but it's bringing in the right equipment, the right personnel to be able to assess the situation properly, be able to test material. And then I find out it was nothing that was an issue.
I would much rather find out that it was benign after we had the big rigmarole than turn around and just be like, whatever it is, and then that starts to spread.
Absolutely. One of the big things that when you talk about emergency response, you have to be prepared for the unexpected. I can't tell you how many calls I've gone on. I've been with the Elgin Fire Department for 31 years, and I've worked my way up the ranks. I've been a paramedic on the ambulances. The number of calls that we go on that when we arrive on scene are drastically different than what they were dispatched as. It happens all the time. And so you have to go out the door on every call, really not assured of what it really is, but being prepared.
Is that a language barrier? Is it because the civilians don't know how to describe what it is? Is it the dispatch is trying to get as much information as you as quickly as possible?
I think there's a combination of those things. When you call 911 and the dispatcher's asking you all these questions, people oftentimes are like, hey, just send somebody. They're already sending us. So whether it's a police car or a fire engine, they're doing that simultaneously while they're collecting your information. The more information they collect as we're traveling to the scene, they're putting into our computer system.
Gotcha.
So we can read their notes, or they'll come on the radio and say, hey, there's additional information. So we get ongoing information throughout the dispatch all the way to our arrival on the scene.
Gotcha.
But the other side of it is exactly what you said. It's the being able to describe what the problem is. And people get excited when something bad is happening, right? I mean, that's obvious, that happens. And it's a matter of how many times we get calls for car fires or accidents on I-90 and we're given the wrong direction. It's on eastbound, but it's westbound or vice versa.
And now you're on the other side of whatever.
And we sent the wrong equipment because, we sent the equipment that was right for the location of the call we were given, but it's not the right equipment to get to the other location. So we had to send it. So we have delays. But all those things happen.
Exactly.
And so we always treat our calls as this is what we're being dispatched for, but we have to be prepared for it to migrate into something else or be something completely different. And so I think we do a very good job of being able to pivot as we need to, depending on the situation.
To take that utilitarian approach to your rigs and things like that to make sure that, like, look, we were called away for a fire and we thought it was an Alpha, and now it turns out that it's Charlie, and we've got to figure out where can we even turn off the breakers to even put anything over there.
Correct.
So, and even then, me as a civilian, I'm not going to know that when I say I've got a kitchen fire, it may be a grease fire, and I've already messed it up, and I'm just telling, look, it's now Alpha, it's everywhere, and I don't know how to describe that fire. And you guys respond to more than just fire.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the other side of it too. It may be in the name, but I don't think it's primarily what you guys do.
No, what I say is we are what we call a all hazards emergency response organization.
Got it.
So we handle everything. I mean, we go to about 50 working structure fires a year. So the rest of the time, about 74% of our call volume is EMS related.
Okay.
That's our biggest thing, obviously. And then we do everything from hazardous materials response, water rescue response, gas leaks, water leaks. We cover so much. And what I always say is we're really like the city's insurance policy.
Okay.
That's where, when you talk about that utilitarian vision of things, the way our vehicles are set up, what types of equipment we carry on our vehicles. There's lots of equipment we have that we don't use very often.
Oh, yeah.
But if we don't have it and you need it, who has it? Nobody.
Exactly.
And that's how I approach the fire department is we have to be prepared for just about anything. And if we don't have it, we do know places to go get it.
And who is going to have it? You're absolutely right.
Yep. Well, typically we use so there's an organization in Illinois called the acronym is MABUS, Mutual Aid Box Alarm System.
Okay.
And it is we could spend a whole hour explaining the whole thing, but it's an organization that assists all the fire departments in the state, or the majority of the fire departments in the state, and we're a member of them. And they have resources that we can pull in.
Gotcha.
So we've had times where we've had fires in warehouses. We don't have the equipment to get that smoke out of a large building. This mutual aid organization has truck-mounted fans that they can bring in, so we can request those. So it's part of our job is to also know where we can get this equipment from, and we do have those resources.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just opening holes in the roof just to let it
absolutely. That's right.
That's there. Well, it's good to have that support system as far as the equipment goes. What has the city helped you with in providing resources as far as personnel goes? Do you guys have a farming system? Do you guys have an academy that you pull from? Is it specific to the region or the city?
Well, so hiring, every fire department and police department hire independently.
Okay.
So we run our own testing process. We just finished our application period, just closed last Friday. So we are now going through that hiring process.
Okay.
When you talk about having like a pathway, a farm club, if you will, we do have what we call a Fire Explorer program.
Okay.
And that's for kids 14 to 21. And what it really provides is an opportunity for these people, that age group, to come out, and they do much of the same things that we do. They're trained by Elgin firefighters. They're using Elgin Fire Department equipment. They're training at our training tower.
Okay.
And they're taught classroom portions of information by our people. They're taught the practical skills. We provide access to our firefighting gear, SCBAs, the breathing tanks that we wear, all of that equipment, and we put them through many of the same types of trainings that we go through, where it gives them an opportunity to say, this is something I'd like to do, or this isn't for me. And I'd much rather have somebody know this isn't for them before they get into the job. But it's also nice to have younger people who are like, I think I might want to do this. Or I go to a lot of schools, especially grade schools. And I say, how many people have ever thought about being a police officer? And you'll get a smattering of hands. How many people have ever thought being a fireman? And I almost never get any hands.
Oh, no.
People just don't. It's just not on the top of people's minds. And so this gives that opportunity for kids to, hey, this is something different. And I think we've hired 3, or I think we're hiring 1 now. I think she will be our 3rd explorer that we've hired onto the fire department.
That's
so
amazing.
It is working as a farm club, if you will, for example, for us.
That's great. Well, I ask it mostly because of the exposure, because of we only meet the heroes when something bad is going on, or you guys are putting on an event. Any other time in between, it's like, well, am I even allowed to talk to them? Are they even over there?
Right.
So it's great to hear how you're welcoming that exposure and that education as well.
Absolutely.
Do you have a policy for anybody who is having trouble maybe putting in car seats or anything like that at the fire station?
So we are working, and we just received, and you talk about support for the department from the city. The city has been has been phenomenal with their support, and we've added just in the last 2 years, we've added 3.5. We took a part-time position. Our Fire Prevention Bureau made that full-time. So, but we added in essence 4 people to our administration that. We haven't added anybody to our administration in decades and decades and decades. And so that's been a huge help. One of those positions is our division chief of community risk reduction. And that position is going to be doing exactly things what you're talking about.
Great.
So the idea is, when you talked about fire departments 20, 30 years ago, you did fire prevention and you go to the schools. We still do all that stuff.
Don't play with matches.
Correct.
Stay
Stop,
away
drop,
from
and roll.
gas. Yeah.
All that.
As a kid, I always thought I would be using stop, drop, and roll a lot more often.
It's a good thing.
Often it was.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing I don't have to. Yeah, exactly. But for how much it was drilled into my head for school, it was like, oh my goodness.
And
There's a fiery place out there.
We still do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But community risk reduction takes that to a much higher level, where we're looking at not only what the fire department does, but some of the things the police department does, some of the things that our non-governmental social service agencies do that we can get incorporated with. So one of those things that we're looking at is the car seat installation stuff.
That's great. That's great, because there is a lot of that information, of safety information, that you guys have and you guys disseminate as well with coming on here, with being part of the programs that you've got, the community outreach. But there's a lot of times where us civilians are lazy, right? I want that information now. I don't want to wait 2 weeks for the jamboree or to see you at the festival or anything like that. It's like, you know what? Let me just drive over there and see what they're doing. Like, no.
And we're good with that. I think the fire department is probably one of the most understood agencies in the city. You see police cars all the time. You see public works trucks all the time. But you'll see a fire truck drive by or an ambulance. But I think there's so many people who really don't understand what we do and all the things that we do that we talked about just a few minutes ago. I think there's a lot of people who just don't understand that. And we work 24 hours. We're the only entity in the city that's got a 24-hour work schedule. That's an interesting work environment. So we are very different, but we're always open. You can come by to the fire stations. We'll give you a tour. We'll check blood pressure. I mean, we're very open and inviting.
That's great. That's really great. It's good to have a system that is inviting like that, right?
Sure.
Because when something breaks out, when there's trouble going around, you just like Mr. Rogers says, find the helpers, and you guys wear some pretty shiny badges. I appreciate you being on there.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We are talking with Fire Chief Rob Sagan of the Elgin Fire Department. We're going to talk a little bit about Elgin is going to host the 2nd annual Firefighter Memorial Service coming right up. You're listening to Out to Lunch on WRMN. Stay tuned for more information. We'll be right back after these.
WRMN says thank you to all of our local veterans, like Jerry Christofferson of True Patriots Care.
We had the 1,700 flags up across from the wall. That's how many POWs and MIAs from Vietnam are still missing. Plus, we do veterans and first responders funerals.
Yeah.
And so if you ever drive by a funeral home or a church or a cemetery and you see the flags, you know a soldier died today.
Go to TruePatriotsCare.com for more information. And veterans, thank you for your service to our country.
In the middle of the night, everything will be all right if you listen to Coast, right here on WRMN 7 days a week from midnight to 5 a.m. Each night on Coast to Coast, listeners are captivated by George Newry with discussions on news and current events, conspiracy theories, UFOs, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. Whether you're working third shift or you're just a night owl, catch the most listened to overnight talk radio program in North America, Coast to Coast, every night, midnight to 5 a.m. right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Everyone has a community to lean on, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. You've talked with your kids and shared clear expectations, but you're not with them every minute. Your community members, friends and relatives, teachers and coaches, faith leaders, and other important adults in your kids' lives can be your eyes, ears, and a supportive influence when you're not around, reinforcing your messages with your kids and alerting you to warning signs of underage drinking or other substance use. So talk with your kids about these issues and involve the members of your community to help keep your kids safe. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Clocking out? Drive home with the Drive Time Deal with Matt McNeil on WRMN 1410 AM every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. I bring you the hottest deals in town, the most intriguing stories, and the tracks that take the edge off rush hour. Tune in on 1410 AM. Catch us on YouTube Live at WRMN Radio or stream through our app. I've got the wheel to steer your evening right. WRMN 1410 AM, your home of radio shopping and the soundtrack to your commute.
Rise and shine, Fox Valley listeners. It's time to kickstart your day with First Shift with Marky B on WRMN 1410 AM. From 6 to 9 a.m., join the chatter that gets you clued in with the latest buzz around town. Don't just sip on your coffee. Let Marky B brew your morning with the perfect mix of news, views, and moves. Dial us in or live stream at WRMN1410.com and make your mornings a whole lot brighter. WRMN 1410 AM. We're the voice of the Valley, and we're here to talk.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Counterfeit products are popping up everywhere. Fake sneakers, fake cosmetics, and even fake pills. Crooks are selling counterfeit versions of just about everything. Last year, billions of dollars worth of counterfeit products were sold in the U.S. Sure, it may seem like saving a few bucks on the things you want isn't a big deal, but counterfeits are usually made in unsafe conditions, potentially using hazardous and even lethal ingredients that could harm you and others. And the money you've paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals and may support child labor, drugs, and even gangs. Smells like big crime to me. So if you still think buying fake products is harmless, think again. And remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart, buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Welcome back to WRMN. You're listening to Out to Lunch. You can take WRMN out to lunch if you'd like. Either take WRMN out to lunch with a gift certificate, if that's what you're looking for there. Going out to lunch. If you want to watch us, we are on YouTube. We're going live right there. Right now, in fact. Here, go ahead and watch. If you want to listen, you can go to WRMN1410.com. We've got a live stream that's going on right there. And, of course, the live stream continues on the 24-hour digital app and the website itself. Just click right on that link. 24 hours spinning all of the time, but I only have a little bit more time left with Fire Chief Sagan. I really appreciate you coming in today, Chief.
I appreciate the offer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, anytime. We want to make sure that people know the mysterious dark arts of the fire department. And we were talking a little bit about that off the air during the commercial break, because I don't want to just sit there and just stare at you for 5 minutes. So it gets awkward after a while.
Yes,
so,
it does.
And then if I just stop talking, then either way. But we were talking about all of the 7 houses that you've got as well. But we were talking about how you guys kind of are the catch-all, the foundation of everything. We can all say police have this, social work has this, admin over at the city has this. Like I go to the DMV, sure. I know what that specific is. Mm-hmm. If anything doesn't fall into those hoppers, it's almost as if you guys are the ones that have to shoulder that.
Well, that would be true. I mean, if you think about, and we talked about the name of the fire department is really not indicative of what the fire department is all about, mm-hmm. because we do have to handle all the water rescue calls, or we have to handle the hazardous materials responses. We have to handle so many of a wider variety of mm-hmm. call types that fall outside of the umbrella of fire and emergency medical service.
Yeah, fire and flood and everything in between.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the mystique that you guys don't just hang out to be on calendars out there.
That's right.
Because there's a mystique out there where we go, well, they're either rushing to an emergency or they're back right. They're back at the house playing video games and working out, right. or washing the vehicles, which they look right. amazing, by the way.
Our guys do a good job of maintaining the equipment. Yes, they do.
But no, like we were saying, it's the in between. It's the communication. It's the community outreach. It's so many more things that you guys
in
do.
Elgin, the challenge that we have is last year we ran, at the end of 2023, ran just shy of 15,000 calls for emergency service. So our guys are busy. You know, between all those emergencies, we're also inspecting every business in town. Gets a fire mm-hmm. inspection every year. We are going to the grade schools and teaching in the grade schools. We're doing other community events that come up throughout mm-hmm. the year. Our guys are incredibly busy when it comes to workload during the day.
Do you have, so you were talking about your 24-hour shift, because in the Navy, what I had was I essentially did port and starboard. We did 12 and 12 is what we've got. I was there from 6 in the morning, 6 at night, or however you kind of did it. Do you guys do that kind of thing where it is 6 hours of active watch and then another 6 hours of maybe outreach or community or anything like that? Or what does a typical shift look like?
Our shifts go from 7 a.m. till 7 a.m. the next day.
Okay.
And obviously you're not going to be doing inspections and public outreach, in the evenings.
Yeah.
So typically I would say after 6 o'clock, mm-hmm. it's probably much more just emergency response related.
Gotcha.
But we're still running about almost 40 calls a day out of the 7 stations. Wow. So our units are very busy around the clock.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you're on watch, you're on watch.
Absolutely.
There's no sitting around and right. posing for Mr. January or anything like that.
That's right.
So it's really great. You guys have a firefighter memorial service coming up, and this is the 32nd annual. It's happening this Saturday, May 18th at 10 a.m. at the Illinois Firefighter Memorial Plaza in the George Vandevord, okay, Firefighter Memorial Park. That is 533 St. Charles Street in Elgin. This is the 32nd annual one.
That's right. So we've been doing this every year. We didn't even miss a year during COVID.
Wow.
And it's been a phenomenal event for us. It is held at that location is what used to be Fire Station number 5.
Okay.
And it was decommissioned, I think, in 1990 or 1991, and it was turned into the Elgin Area Firefighter Museum. Mm. And so it's a tremendous asset for the fire department to have our history there. Yeah. And that's open on weekends. So people can stop by during the weekend, usually sometime anywhere like 10 to 2, 12 to 4, somewhere in that range. It's open. We have volunteers who staff it. So it's a great place to just stop by if you've never been there. But if you've never been there, this Saturday is a great time to come by. Just last year, we christened, if you will, the Illinois Firefighter Memorial Plaza, which is a plaza out front of the museum that we had been working on building. Well, the idea had been in the works for a decade, and then the construction was in process for 2 years, and it came into fruition last year. So this is our second year where we'll be actually utilizing the plaza during our memorial service. But this is more than just the Elgin Fire Department. We have somewhere in the range of 12 to 14 other fire departments from the Fox Valley who participate in this event. It's a great event. It only lasts about 45 minutes or so, so it's not a huge time commitment, but it's a great event to come out to, and I encourage everybody to stop out.
Yeah, well, it's 45 minutes of the event, but it's an all-day event to meet and talk and fellowship with each other.
And the museum will be open, so you can go and check out the museum. So it's a great morning event.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. What's your favorite piece over at the museum?
We always are trying to change those. I think right now, the antique vehicles that we have are pretty sharp, and they're Elgin vehicles. They're from our department. So that's what really makes it a really interesting location to go to, place to go to, because it is the Elgin Fire Department history. It's great.
Because it actually is their history. So some of these things have been in service. Well, I guess most of these things have been in service.
At some point in time, absolutely.
Wow. Yes. So saving lives already and then going to go put up on a mantle. So that's what we're going to have to do for you is get you up on a good mantle. If you guys want to check out the memorial, go ahead and swing by May 18th at 10 a.m. this Saturday. And that is George Vandevoort, you said?
Yes.
Firefighter Memorial. Who was Mr. Vandevoort?
He was one of our fire chiefs.
Okay.
Past fire chief.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And that used to be 5, house number 5?
Fire station number 5 used to be, yep.
That's there. So the service is hosted by you.
Correct.
And the Elgin Fire Department with a proclamation by Mayor David Captain.
That's correct.
There. The event is open to the public and will be held outdoors. In case of inclement weather, the event will be moved to Calvary Baptist Church, 551 Arlington Avenue.
Right
and
across
I think
the
that's
street.
just down the street.
Right across the street.
Street parking is available. In addition, parking will be available across the street from the memorial at Garfield Elementary School, and that is 420 May Street. For those who prefer to attend virtually, you're live streaming it as well.
Yes.
You can go to the Elgin Fire Department Facebook page. The video will also be available for viewing after the memorial on Facebook and the city's website.
That's correct.
And the city's website is elginil.gov.
They've just changed it, yes.
Yeah, we just brought some people in for that. So I'm still trying to train my
correct. But if you use the old one, it'll still kick over for now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. 32nd annual. How many times have you been doing this?
Oh, I've been here 31 years, so I've been here almost every one of them.
Well, there you go. Because you've come up through the ranks. And
correct.
When you joined, did you jump in through that program that we were talking about?
Did not exist at the time. No, I just tested. I just tested like everybody else, and
you showed up and said, "I want to fight fires." That's it.
I did well enough on the test to get hired, and the rest is history.
There you go. Well, I really appreciate you coming in. And you said it was only 45 minutes for it.
Roughly.
We're giving out awards or anything like that?
No, just a recognition of it's a recognition of the Illinois Fire Service and that in general, and then it's also a recognition from all of these participating departments for any members who had passed away in the line of duty in the last year, or any retirees who have passed away in the last year.
Gotcha. So now with that, I want to talk a little bit about the event that's happening on June 1st.
Yes.
So June 1st is the 50th anniversary of losing Captain Ballas.
Stan Balsas and firefighter Michael Whalen.
Yeah, and this is the 50th anniversary of the memorial for them.
Of the incident. Of the incident occurring, yes. So both of those gentlemen were actively involved in a rescue attempt in the dam in town here, and they both drowned during that event. And so we have been, since then, we have been doing a memorial event. If you've been down by the river, we have a really beautiful memorial plaque with some bronze fire helmets, and that's right where we do the event. And then what we're going to do this year, this is going to be the last year for this annual recognition event.
Gotcha.
We're at a point where we felt it would be better served if we, in addition to the plaque that we have by the river, if we move this down to the museum and we have a permanent exhibit at the museum for these two gentlemen, in addition to the other line of duty deaths that have occurred within the history of the Elgin Fire Department.
There you are. And to almost bring them into the fold.
Correct.
At that point. Correct. And then by all means, then have them celebrated on the 18th when you do it again for the 33rd.
Yes. Yep. But I encourage everybody to come out on the 1st. It's at 9 a.m. It's a very short ceremony, about 30 minutes. But it's just being that it's going to be our 50th and it's going to be our last one. We're going to have all of our water rescue assets down there. So you'll be able to kind of come down, touch a truck, touch a boat, and see all those things. And it'll be a nice little event.
From fires to floods,
we do it all.
You take care of it. So the next one I've got is another F word: the future. What's the future for the Elgin Fire Department?
Well, we're growing. I mean,
Great.
We have to grow. We have land out west, and as that develops over the years, we'll end up looking at stations 8 and 9.
Wow.
I mean, it's. I don't know if those will happen in my career's time, but that's the future. That's where we'll be going as the expansion as the city grows.
That's great.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming in. I look forward to the expansion as it goes. Congratulations on your new hires.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
When can people sign in for the recruitment process? When is that window?
So we just closed our current process last Friday. So in theory, it's every 2 years, but we just did this process early, about a year early. So it all depends. Okay. It really depends. What you have to do is you can go to the human resources page on the city's website. And if you're interested in being a firefighter, you can go to job postings and click on that button. And then when the notifications come out that we're going to be testing, then you'll get sent an email that says, hey, we're going to be testing, so you'll never miss out.
That'll be great. Sign up for the best team that's out there in Elgin, the catch-alls, the ones that I was a sonar technician, so I had to make sure I maintained all of my own equipment, even my own fire systems and everything else. So I've got a soft place for you guys.
Thank you.
Fire department, ready to go, because that's it. They do throw it all at you. They say, you know what, we've got a flood going on here, send the fire department.
That's right.
What, we've got a cat up this tree, send the fire department. Let's go. You guys earned those calendar spots, I'll tell you.
Well, thank you.
It's there. So thank you very much, Chief Rob. Really appreciate it. Go ahead and head down to the Elgin 32nd Annual Firefighter Memorial Service. That's happening this Saturday, May 18th. Go to the George Van Devore Firefighter Memorial that's there. Hour 2 for Out to Lunch coming up right after this. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. We'll be right back after the news.
The word is out. Nissans cost less on Route 19, but that's not all. Parts, service, and body shop, they all cost less at McGrath Nissan. Used cars too. The reason why is how hard we try. Right now, get 0% APR financing on select new Nissan models at McGrath Nissan because
Nissans cost less on Route 19.
Come to Elgin.
See what we mean.
For a little lighthearted lawlessness on Sunday afternoons, listen to Handle on the Law from 4 to 7 p.m. Handle on the Law is a unique combination of useful legal advice and outrageous handle remarks. Whether you're talking about Big Brother, big business, big legal problems, or Big Macs, you'll rarely find Bill without an opinion. His rapid-fire commentary gives listeners the information they crave in the way they crave it. It's Handle on the Law, Sunday afternoons from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 1 o'clock.
For WRMN 1410, I'm Ben Boquist. Saturday, May 4th at 11 a.m., a Pensac Salat seminar. Please register by contacting South Elgin Budokan Martial Arts. Pensac Salat is a full-body fighting form combining strikes, kicks, grappling, and throwing, in addition to weaponry, In this seminar, you will get an introduction into the basic techniques and principles, and you will begin to recognize the underlying advantages and disadvantages of the motion rather than memorizing specific techniques. Included in training will be throws, takedowns, submission holds, ground fighting, ground versus stand-up fighting, how to stand up from the ground fighting, and they'll touch on edged weapon defense. It's $40 per person and $35 for second family members in the same household. Please register by contacting South Elgin Budokan Martial Arts. Celebrate St. Baldrick's Day at Trikoshi University of Beauty Culture. Donate from April 1st to May 12th and receive $15 off service. Shavees receive $10 bonus bucks on the next visit. The shaving event is May 3rd, 2024 from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Visit trikoshiuniversity.edu for your local campus. Any guest that donates the day of their visit, now to May 3rd, will receive $15 off their total service. Any shavee on the day of the event will receive $10 in bonus bucks to be used on their next visit. And please remember, every donation, no matter the size, creates a meaningful impact on the lives of children battling cancer. Sunday, May 4th is Strawberry Festival at Bethlehem Evangelical Lutheran Church. If you like chocolate-covered strawberries, strawberry shortcake, strawberry jam, and more, you will love this festival. For the non-strawberry lovers, there is a crafts area, jewelry room, plant sale, and more. It goes from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sunday, May 4th is Strawberry Festival at Bethlehem Evangelical Lutheran Church. On Wednesday, May 8th at 7:30 p.m., enjoy the Elgin Community College Concert Choir and Concert Band performances. For WRMN 1410, I am Ben Boquist.
Here at WRMN Radio, we try to connect with the community and discuss important issues, like our current mental health crisis. Here's Lori Baker, President and CEO of AID.
I think most people, when they see young children thinking about suicide at the ages of 5 and 6 and 7, I mean, that's shocking to me that children even know that they want to harm themselves somehow. I know it's difficult. I definitely feel the pinch. We all feel the pinch at the gas pump, at the grocery store, right, in our rents, but I think most people could handle 27 cents a day to help kids and seniors and people experiencing homelessness.
Discussions like this take place on the first shift, weekday mornings from 6 to 10, right here on WRMN AM 1410 and WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
On the way down, Suzuki over to get it. Quickly gets it back in. It's an RBI double.
The action courtesy of the Atlanta Braves radio network in Monday's 2-0 win over the Cubs. Atlanta scored both their runs in the 6th. Zach Short broke a scoreless tie with a run-scoring double. Then Ronald Acuna Jr. followed up with an RBI single. The result spoiled another sparkling effort from Chicago rookie pitcher Shota Imanaga. He went 5 scoreless innings, extending his team record to 8 consecutive starts to begin his career without allowing more than 2 runs. He stranded a pair of base runners in the 2nd and 3rd and left the bases loaded in the 4th. He struck out 8 and lowered his major league leading ERA to .96 despite allowing 7 hits and 3 walks. Braves righty Reynaldo Lopez kept pace with Imanaga, throwing 5 scoreless innings while allowing 2 hits and a pair of walks. Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Duration and Super Deck products May 17th through the 20th. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Did you hear? Macy's One-Day Sale is Tuesday with limited time specials to help you get ready for summer. Like 25 to 30% off active gear for him and for her. And 40 to 70% off shoes, handbags, and jewelry for the perfect look. Plus save 45 to 60% on dining and entertaining from Lennox, Fitz & Floyd, and more. Macy's Star Rewards members earn on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees.
Battery
Batteries Plus Bulbs is more than batteries and bulbs. It's your repair shop for Apple devices, Samsung Galaxy devices, and more. Located on Randall Road, just south of 20 in Elgin, Batteries Plus Bulbs fills all your battery and light bulb needs in one stop. They have the largest selection of batteries for ATVs, cameras, phones, laptops, scooters, cars and homes, and everything else. Looking to save money with energy-efficient LED or holiday lighting? Stop in at Batteries Plus Bulbs in Elgin. Go to batteriesplus.com for special offers.
A recent Gallup poll indicated that 38% of Americans are putting off health care because of financial concerns, the highest ever recorded. I'm Dr. Bob Martin, here to serve you every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4. Millions of Americans are seeking health advice that will not cost an arm and a leg, so I offer health tips and advice absolutely free. Listen to my show, Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM, the voice of the Valley and the home of Radio Shopping Show.
Welcome back to WRMN Out to Lunch. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. You are spending the second hour with me. I hope you spend the whole hour with me. I got a lot of great things, great topics to talk to you about. A lot of great people, a lot of great voices. That's what Out to Lunch with WRMN is all about. WRMN 1410, by the way, WRMN1410.com if you want to listen on there. If you want to watch us on the live stream, that's right, we are live streaming video. That's right, radio you can watch. It's just like television you can smell. But I guess, speaking of Pleasance, I have my pleasure to have once again my friend Johnny Z. Thank you very much for coming in, sir. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, great to be here.
And like always, you brought me some friends. One of those friends is David Debo. David is the City of Aurora's Executive Director to the Mayor's Office of Economic Development. David, does that fit on a business card?
Not really. Two sides.
Two sides. That's it. So, so you sound like a man with a plan. What do you have in store for the economic development of the city of Aurora?
Well, I'm fortunate to be part of a great team in Aurora because think about economic development. Think about we all do it every day, right? We drive down the street and we see an empty building and we say, boy, that should be a deli. That should be this. So we're all thinking all the time about how to maximize or improve, enhance. That's really what economic development is
Gotcha.
Improving the prosperity of the businesses and the people who live.
Making sure there's not two coffee shops right next to each other.
Try not to be, although, the other side of it is that capitalism, So, for instance, in Aurora, we have a bunch of coffee shops, and they all kind of hit a different market.
Yeah.
And some has some food, and some and actually attract different crowds. But that's what we do. We try to just move things along and believe in the capitalist process. But at the end of the day, sometimes it needs a little nudge, and that's what we do.
Is there a certain threshold of occupancy that you're looking for businesses in the city?
It's not so much occupancy. It's really, without getting too deep, although it is fascinating.
Well, this is radio. You can get as deep as you want.
So you think about this. You've got the value of something, right? So the value of a building, for instance, is predicated on the rents that are attainable. So if the market is strong and the rents are high, then that's going to be seen in the value. On the other side of the equation is the cost. How much does it cost either to buy that building or to renovate that building? And there's got to be some balance between the value and the cost. So for instance, and we've had this in Aurora, where the cost to renovate that building is higher than the ultimate value of that building.
Okay.
Then you say, well, that's why that building was vacant for 30 years.
Gotcha.
Because there was no economic rationale.
You're buying that building to lose money.
To lose money. And again, people tend to do things in a rational way. So unless something like an economic development group, like our group, will come in, and say, no, wait, here's the math of this thing. It's not going to work unless this happens, but for something like that happens.
What are some of the tools in your toolbox to assist in that move, that nudge, right? Do you have cattle prods? Do you have carrots? Is it more carrot or less stick? What is your what's your approach, and what tools do you have?
Well, the main, you could use zoning and rezonings and things like that, but if you want to make a quicker impact, it's dollars.
Okay.
And incentives. And incentives are kind of a charged word because you could say, the person got an incentive. City's given money. But really, you look at what gets us excited is somebody comes in and says, I got this idea. I got this business. I got this restaurant. I got this business. But I'm short some money because, again, it's just, if I put $300,000 into this building, and at the end of the day, it's only worth $200,000. I can't do that. So we might offer some tax incentives, and we might offer a grant, or we might offer a loan that might get paid back because you're now generating sales taxes that you wouldn't in a vacant building. So we go to the city council and say, something, if you do this and the sales tax go to this, then you're actually going to pay yourself back and then some. And that's the kind of thing. So you try to create a win-win outcome. That's the goal.
And it's balancing that ecosystem too. We kind of hit on it by talking about the coffee shops being too close to each other. But at the end of the day, you want to have a reason to go to these shops. So having a place like maybe a movie theater where it's a destination, and then you get out of the movie and you go and assimilate to something else or move from there. How much is what you guys do at the economic development level of balancing that ecosystem versus somebody necessarily kind of seeing the tea leaves in the market? Wouldn't it be better to put something in here? How much do you guys have, like, this is a developer we talk to often, and let's see if they might have an idea for this side, or do you kind of let it organically come up from there?
It's really a great question, because we think about that every day, is how much are you, you're the city, you're the backdrop. There's developers and there's the restaurateurs and
you're
retailers.
The finger on the scale,
right?
At that
but
point.
You want the market to work. So the short answer is it's much better when the market is working, because we'll figure it out. And if a restaurant opens and it's the wrong restaurant and they don't have the business, they'll go out of business and another restaurant will come in, or something else will come in. That said, if people want to live downtown and they want a grocery store, we may say, what do we need to do to get that? So we're looking at that right now. What are the economics? Because more people in Aurora want to live downtown. And of course, that requires grocery stores. How do you do that? So sometimes we'll target a market and say, we really will help this business because we really have those 3 coffee shops. So really, does it make sense to give an incentive to that 4th coffee shop, or wouldn't it be better to try to do it this other way? So we're constantly speaking to our merchants, our residents, and trying to figure out and doing some market studies as to what to do.
That's great. And when you go and you talk about the communication between both the market, the constituents, the business owners, what is your main vehicle of communication? Do you have people come into your office? Do you just say, email me at any time? What is your usual communication pathway?
Well, and I think John will talk about that a little further on the program, but and we actually were talking about this on the drive up. We're very personal. We like to talk to people in person. The door is always open because you never know what you learn when somebody comes in and has an idea. And then we could share. So we might, if we're going to lend money or incentivize a business, we're going to know about that business. We're going to know their revenues, their costs, and so on. So without breaching confidentiality, we could go and say, something, that's a good idea, but we know this, or in order to make the numbers work, we need at least this kind of revenue and stuff like that. We also have the Paramount Theater right downtown, so we are very familiar with when their shows are going to be, how their season works, and so on. So we might say to a restaurant, you know, it'd be great to be opening in September or really August because that's when the season starts, versus, let's say, in January, which is notoriously a slower time.
Absolutely. That's great. And and you have a fantastic team behind you. Of course, communications director and a few other people that you've got. But how is it working with the other organizations that aren't necessarily under your control as the city? Like maybe there's a chamber of commerce, or maybe there is a investors group or an entrepreneur club. Are there pathways and representatives that you send out to those groups as well, or how do you maintain that line of communication?
Seriously, that is another very astute question, because it's exactly what we're going through right now. And I think it really starts at the top, and the mayor and the chief of staff really encourage this kind of cross-pollination. So we come from the private sector. I come from the private sector. And if you're in the private sector and you're in a big company, you know that your finance group has to be talking to your marketing group. You're just part of what you do. So the idea that you're in a municipality and you happen to have a public-private group or a chamber or economic development, we have a downtown group, and our mission is really to make sure that everybody is communicating. And it sounds corny, but when you have a market like this where there's so much to do, so it's not a zero-sum game. I could see in some worlds where it's like, oh, that's what I do. I work on this street, but there's so much to do. And quite frankly, sometimes the city is involved in the funding of these different groups. So if you're a taxpayer or you're a resident or a pedestrian and you're walking down the street, you don't know whether that deal was done because the chamber introduced someone to that person and so on. You just want to know that this is a great place to get a burger.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we think, and I think. So I'm obsessed about working with John's group in the marketing and in the communications and making sure. Just the other day I was speaking to somebody in his group and making sure that they were connecting with the downtown people because we have an event coming up, and we wanted to make sure that everybody not only knew about it, because John's group is great at making sure that that happens, but was participating. So even though the event starts really in October, and John could talk about that, it's a light show that we're going to have all over the city for about 5 weeks. But we want to make sure that everybody is participating. And to do that, you've got to be speaking to everybody. And to me, it just energizes me because somebody says, I got this idea. I was downtown. I was in Chicago, and I saw this and whatever. And that makes it exciting. So we love it.
Communication and compromise, they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand when you're building a city. They go hand in hand when you're building relationships or anything that's like that.
We're making a deal.
That's it.
And making a deal, and you've got to. I've always felt, kind of just to diverge a little bit, but I've always felt in a deal, there's a natural moment. There's a point. There's an inflection point, and I've been fortunate in my life to see that very early on.
The symbiosis that just happens.
You just see where. And it's not 50-50. It's but you could just see where it is. And then part of my job is moving the parties and the city, and sometimes the city council, into that.
Where do they fit together? We'll be right back on Out to Lunch. Thanks for listening to WRMN. We are joined by Debo, Mr. Debo. And of course, we've also got our friend Johnny Z talking about Aurora. We'll be right back after these.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 800-699-9043.
America's Best Restaurants travels the country and features restaurants that you should visit each week. Recently, the cast and crew made their way to Renata's German Restaurant in Hanover Park. Renata serves old family recipes and delicious German-influenced food. Renata's also specializes in a wide variety of traditional German baked goods, too. So, if you've yet to visit Renata's, try America's Best Restaurants choice. Drop in soon for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Visit renatasgermanrestaurant.com.
Anderson Japanese Gardens, ranked the highest quality Japanese garden in North America and located right in the heart of Rockford. Their mission is to open minds to a different culture while offering a place of peace and tranquility where one can find healing, renewal, inspiration, and a re-energized soul. A premier destination for corporate functions, special events, weddings, and receptions. For directions, hours, and fees, visit andersongarden.org today.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. No matter the time of the day, WRMN 1410 AM is your platform to voice your views, share your stories, and connect with the Valley like never before. We're more than just radio. We're a community conversation that's always live, always local, and always looking for your input. Want to chime in on the drive time deal with Matt McNeil? Got a hot tip for first shift with Marky B? Or maybe you've got a question for a one-on-one with Leah. Now's the time to make your voice heard by calling Studio 14 at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. You can join in the dialogue from wherever you are by commenting on our YouTube live streams at WRMN Radio. Hit the subscribe button to get notified when we go live and bring your comments to the table. It's easy, it's fun, and hey, it's what neighbors do. We talk, we listen, we engage. You're not just the audience, you're part of the show. Call in, comment, and let's make radio interactive. WRMN 1410 AM, where your words are part of our wavelength.
From morning coffee to your evening commute, WRMN 1410 AM is here for you. The faithful friend that brings you local news, timely topics, and the friendliest voices in the Valley. Stay informed, entertained, and engaged with our full lineup of shows, streaming all day, every day at WRMN1410.com or on the WRMN app. Wherever you are, we're right there with you. So why switch stations? Stick with the one that has it all. WRMN 1410 AM, your daily companion, your constant conversation.
Theriault Booth, a leading local law firm, is located on the beautiful Fox River in downtown St. Charles. Here's Ryan Theriault.
For better or worse, there are just times people need a lawyer. Whether you are involved in a work injury, in an automobile crash, selling a home, or even planning for your estate after your passing, we're here. We're local. We're part of the community.
For more information, visit them on the web at tbfirm.com or give them a call at 630-526-4242.
Welcome back to Out to Lunch. You're listening to WRMN. Hopefully you're watching WRMN too. That's right, YouTube. Or you can come right down to Studio 14, stand outside, look at us, wave at us. Please don't tap on the glass. We're a little skittish in here. But come and see us. Come see downtown Elgin. But I have heard there's another place to go see, another downtown to go see. And that would be the downtown city of Aurora. Lots and lots of development that's happening down there. Of course, we've got our friend Johnny Z, the communications director of the city of Aurora. But he's brought me a special guest, the city of Aurora's executive director of the mayor's office in economic development, David Debo. I don't think I could ever memorize that position. I would be making it up every single time, mixing it around. Yeah, I'm the mayor's liaison for the economic for visions and go. But it's great. How did you jump from being in the private sector of real estate and jump to come work for a mayor of Aurora?
Another very astute question. What I did in the private sector, I used to, a real estate person. Mm-hmm. So I used to buy property for a large Wall Street kind of company.
Okay.
Travel around the country, be part of a team that would buy a hotel, buy a group of hotels. I think at one point we bought 26 Holiday Inns at one point. that kind of stuff. So I was trained in that milieu.
Good word, by the way.
I was trying to use it. I got a chance. Thank you. But when I started to look at really what I did was I was problem solving. I was trying to figure out how to make things better. And what drove me was less the pure how much money I was making. And in Wall Street, that is very important. You really got to want to make more and do more and bigger. And having bigger and better was not necessarily the thing that drove me. What drove me was to say, hey, what can that be? What could that building be? What could that business be? And be some way part of a team that made it better.
Gotcha.
And I was helping some lenders out after the crash of 2008. I was helping a lender out. A friend of mine owned a bank and asked me to come in and help him fix some of the bad loans, because we all remember that time. And in doing that, I met people in Aurora. I was working on some projects in Aurora and looked around and said, this is an incredible city. And we were just talking about it at the break, authentic city, with real people, real buildings, real issues, real urban issues, and in the downtown, and incredible potential. So the opportunity to be part of that, to be part of this transformation, to be part of this mayor's group with the mayor, really having a vision and helping him execute that vision, that's what I wanted to do. So I was excited about it.
That's really great. What I like about the way that you talk about economic development is you don't talk about economic development from a I don't want to be mean to the other ones that are out there, but you don't take it from a capitalistic mentality. If anything, you seem to take economic development from a scientific approach of this is a living, breathing organism. And if we push too much on one side, or if we just feed it sugar all day and just pump enormous amounts of dollars that we don't know what we're doing, we're just throwing it in there, it'll become bloated. Or if we don't give it the nutrition that it wants, it will become anemic. And now we're not using it at all. Or if we're not exercising and flowing as well, that from what I've heard from what John has said, that it's the flow, it's the communication and everything. What I really like about how you describe the city of Aurora is you describe the city and the economic development as if it is in your stewardship, mostly as an organism versus a numbers on a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah.
It's more about, should a hamburger hot dog place be together and shake hands and do it? Should I have how do we reduce food deserts as they just spring up? Nobody plans a food desert. Nobody turns around and says, well, all of a sudden we don't have any food in this area. But you coming in with your mentality and your team, you guys, before the development even happens, you've already got that plan there to say, no, for every certain range we go, or if we do expand this direction, this is where we need to make sure that there is something here in this area.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming in from that aspect of it. Just me as a regular citizen, and as some of my friends say, to enhance the citizen experience for my side of it. Did you learn that from working with the city, or did you see that in the private sector and then said this will work really well in a city aspect?
Well, I've always respected people that were essentially taking the risk. So whether it was the investors or, in this case, the taxpayers, right? So who am I? Really, who am I? I'm a fiduciary for the taxpayer, right? And the best way I learned to think that way was when I was in the private sector. So to answer that part of the question, so let's say I was part of a team and we were buying a $100 million portfolio of hotels. Well, I'm 32 years old, and $100 million. Like, what does that feel like? What does that mean? So I would try to personalize it and say, okay, well, I can't relate to $100 million, and I have a hard time relating to $1 million, but I maybe I could relate to $10,000 or $50,000. And I would say, would I put my money, and I would literally go through an exercise, a genuine exercise, when I was alone, and say, would I, if I had to make this decision, would I put my money in this deal? And that's what I do. I still do that now. So how would I translate to the private sector? So I'm thinking, if the taxpayer money, would I put $800,000 into this building? Would I do that? So, and it actually helps me internalize it, and then it helps me negotiate it. Because then when I'm on the other side and somebody says, no, it's too expensive, and the developer, I might say, I'd like to help you, but I just can't because I can't justify it. And it's real because I've put it through that funnel.
Exactly. You've already ran the lemonade stand numbers, so you know what's profitable and what's not. So nobody can just turn around and say, well, I'm not going to make any money with this unless the city gives me $100,000 right now.
When somebody comes in, it's interesting. It's not all the time, but it's a tip-off for me. If somebody picks up the phone and says, Mr. Debo, what's your incentive program? I almost feel like hanging up. Because, wait, you want to open up that business? You want to do something? Let's talk about that. And then if you're short, we talk to the council about a gap, that gap between the cost and the value. If there's a gap, we could try to figure out how to figure that out.
But it's not just give me money right now. I want to open a business. What do you think you are, Amazon? Get out of here.
and everybody wants it. And I will say, it's like anything. Look, it's an art and a science. You have to make a judgment, and you're going to be wrong sometimes. And we talk in front of the city council, and we talk about risk and balancing the risk reward. Because if not, you can't just look at numbers on a spreadsheet and say, this will happen. You could say, this is likely, this is what we want, this is something empirical as to why we think it will. But it's an art as well, and you've got to let people know that.
Absolutely. Spoken like a true scientist. We appreciate it.
Pleasure.
What are your plans for downtown? Broadway properties are going to be renovated. You guys have some redevelopment plans that are coming through. Tell me about your excitement.
Sure. So over the years, and it predated the 6 or so years that I've been in Aurora, the city has acquired property for whatever reason. Maybe there was a tax sale. Maybe there was this. For whatever reasons, I've myself have purchased property on behalf of the city, but they tend to be strategic properties right on the main street. On Route 25, which is Broadway. And we finally decided to go out there and put them on the market.
Okay.
And to do that, we put a package together, and again, working very closely with John's group, who did an excellent job graphically and actually conceptualizing what we wanted to do. So we're basically saying to the public, whether you're an architect, whether you're a developer, whether you're a retailer, what do you think? What would you do? Forget the price right now. Forget this. What would you do with these properties? Would you knock these 3 buildings down and build an apartment building? Would you do this? What would you do that? And we actually showed some depictions of what could be. Thinking about it, let's visualize this street. Let's try to keep some of the historic nature of this street, but let's not be handcuffed by everything in the past. And what's that balance?
What makes this portion of Aurora so special? What are the other things that are around that area?
Well, it's very close to this Paramount Theater. The Paramount Theater is the largest subscription-based theater in the country, a major economic driver. Beautiful. The shows, please, I advise everybody listening to see the show Beautiful, which just opened up, to rave reviews as they constantly have over there. But it's very close to that. Great City Hall, the river, it's right next to everything. The great thing about Aurora, the downtown, is it's not that big. It's really has boundaries between 31 and 25 and between maybe 6 or 7 streets. So you really have what I call in the real estate business a barrier to entry. So this little pocket of area has a lot of potential. It's close to the train station. So it's right there and it's underutilized. We own it and it's vacant. So let's get out to the market. Let's energize it. already we have restaurants and everybody interested in doing it.
Gotcha. And you've got space for multiple purposes too, because I mean the way that I think it sits is you've got a few different levels for that area as well. And you guys are not only targeting retail and restaurants, but you're also hitting that other R of residential. And is there anything specific that you're looking for there? Are you looking at more of an upscale residential? Are you looking at more of a medium income housing? Is this more of single flats so that we can get more younger people in? What are you guys looking as far as that side?
Well, it's interesting because we could do a show, and maybe I'd love to do a show with you about the economics of residential construction.
Let's do it.
Because, it's frightening. I mean, I'm going to give you an example. I was reading an article in Cranes a couple of months ago where this developer said, to deliver an affordable housing unit, now they use these tax credits and so on, costs $700,000 per unit.
Ooh.
A market unit is less than half of that.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to deliver housing right now in this country, period.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of the cost, it's almost by definition, it's more upscale because you can't justify, even with some incentives, it's hard to do that.
Yeah. And is that that's more of a federal side than it is necessarily the state of Illinois or anything that's working on that side?
Yes, how that's said, but IDA is the state organization that kind of implements a lot of the HUD policies and so on. So we work with the state. So we do a lot of affordable housing. So we just took 2 schools that were vacant. We bought them and put them on the market, used some federal funds for affordable housing.
Wow.
Because we want this city, this is an urban oasis, and we want everybody there. It's an incredibly diverse, vibrant city. So you want people at this income level and this, you just want it all. So we'll see what the market comes back at. And that's why we wanted to put it out there with some directions, some ideas, but then sit back and say, something, what do you think?
Let them decide. It's back to the scales are automatically going to do whatever they need to do as much of the laissez-faire as we possibly can get to. I mean, I know there's regulations and whatever else, but capitalism will be capitalism regardless. So let that kind of decide the area. And then what I really like about where you come in with it is well, hold on a second. Here's a guardrail over here. We want to make sure that we don't get anything too crazy. Oh, well, hold on a second. We want to maintain the value of this area. We can't just put in a bunch of closets with bathrooms in it. We want to actually make sure that we keep it into that scale aspect of it.
Yeah. So for instance, it's very interesting. A developer came to us the other day. In fact, we're meeting with the mayor tomorrow about it, and it's the old Galena Hotel. So there's this old historic hotel, and it's just incredible. But it's small, and it's just economically just hard to make the numbers work. So we're going to let micro units happen there, which is unusual. So we're going to have to change some zoning in order to enable that. So you could argue in the old day, they called them SROs, single room occupancy.
Okay.
So sometimes cities are saying, I don't want to do a lot more of that stuff. I'd rather have, people with a little more means and so on. But at the end of the day, it's so expensive now to live that we're saying, these units might be not a lot larger than a hotel room, but how do you make that economics work? So we're trying to look at that, figure out. So for instance, a lot of times we don't want to have residential on the ground floor. To make the math work, we're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
So we're trying, and even so, the developer's coming to us and saying, look, I've got a gap, and we're trying to figure out how could we fill the gap. But the goal would be to have younger people come in and mix, and then some retired people come in, and just affordable, and just a blend of people, which is what an urban city, and that's what it should be.
And you use the great word for it, affordable. An affordable city is one that drives its own engine. If you can have an affordable, because honestly, what is an economy other than a dollar moving from my pocket to yours? That's really all it is. But if we all turn around and say, well, why don't I just keep my dollars, you keep your dollars, and we'll all just go home at the end of the day, we don't have anything. We're not driving an economy. There is no flow. There is nothing that's moving through. So to have more of those people that are involved with it, especially the retail side of it, the restaurant side of it, you guys are talking about the Paramount being down there as well. You guys may have another little burb on your hands with this, another little hot pocket in Aurora.
Well, to me, look, people love an urban environment. Whether it's New York or Chicago or, people love an urban environment. That said, you don't necessarily have to live in the middle of New York City to experience that. So
it's true.
How could you experience that same vibrancy, excitement that you get in an urban environment, but then be able to walk down the river and, 5 minutes away be on a nature trail and so on. So that's where I think Aurora's got this incredible opportunity. You have a train that will take you into Chicago in 50 minutes. You've got an airport. You've got all this potential. And I just feel this awesome responsibility to be part of a process that could help navigate it. And you just don't want to blow it. You just don't want to, because you've got a stewardship that you could help for, and you want to do it right.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely hit some great words there. Stewardship is absolutely what I would call you. I'm gonna talk to the mayor a little bit about it, and the City of Aurora Executive Director of Mayor Office of Economic Development. I think you should just be the steward of economic development and be done with it. Be done with it, David. It's too wordy. It's too wordy. Tell them you're losing money on the ink on the business cards. It's just taking too much. I really appreciate you.
Thank
you
Dennis,
letting us
thank
look
you.
at this.
Totally enjoyed it.
No, absolutely. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the City of Aurora's new program. That would be Your Voice. What we just talked about with Mr. Debo has kind of started a little bit about that. Of course, we've got Johnny Z coming in for the communications part of the City of Aurora. That's right, communications manager for the City of Aurora. Much easier to say. That would be Johnny Zagul, I believe. Johnny Z. I always mess it up every single time. But we're going to finish the rest of the hour. If you've got any questions, don't forget you can always jump in on the line. 847-931-1410. We'll be right back after these.
Be sure to catch the first shift weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. for important information like fire tips from Elgin Fire Chief Rob Sagan.
The thing in the winter that we're more concerned with is carbon monoxide, because that we don't get in the summer. That carbon monoxide issues occur because of heating equipment. Anything that burns natural gas, if it is faulty, can generate high levels of carbon monoxide, which in time can be fatal. So I can't emphasize enough the importance of having carbon monoxide detectors in your home. Every single year you will see somewhere in the country, and usually we'll get one or two in the Chicagoland area, where you'll see multiple fatalities in one home. You can't smell carbon monoxide, you can't taste carbon monoxide, you have no idea it's happening. And so it's critically important that you have the right detectors in your home.
It's the first shift weekday mornings at 6 a.m. with me, Marky B, right here on WRMN. It's the time of the year where storms and inclement weather can pop up unexpectedly. If you have a generator powered by a small engine, keep it running like a top. Don't do the tune-up yourself. Let Ames Small Engine Repair at 674 Laurel Street in Elgin handle your generator. Ames can do oil changes, spark plugs, and make all the necessary adjustments. From simple tune-ups to major repairs, Ames Small Engine can do it all. Don't forget, it's not too early to think about a lawnmower tune-up. Call 847-742-8750.
Oh no, I just hit that post and my car's got a dent.
Uh-oh, better get Mako.
Oh yeah? Where are they?
Mako is America's body shop. They're the world's largest provider of paint and collision services. They're located at 212 Western Avenue in Carpentersville, across from Spring Hill Mall. I've used them. Check out my car.
Wow, looking good.
Everything was so easy and affordable. Hummer and staff were super friendly and really knew their stuff.
I'm going to call them now.
Mention WRMN 1410 at the Carpentersville Mako and receive 10% off today.
Attention all Schaumburg Boomers fans. Attention all Schaumburg Boomers fans. Come out for a great night of baseball at Wintrust Field at 1999 Spring and Scoot Road in Schaumburg, Illinois. Join us May 18th versus the Florence Yalls for Bark in the Park. Bring your furry friends for a day at the ballpark. Presented by Golf Rose Animal Hospital. With a pregame catch on the field and pregame autographs presented by Wintrust.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-890-5957. 800-890-5957. That's 800-890-5957.
A recent Gallup poll indicated that 38% of Americans are putting off health care because of financial concerns, the highest ever recorded. I'm Dr. Bob Martin, here to serve you every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4. Millions of Americans are seeking health advice that will not cost an arm and a leg, so I offer health tips and advice absolutely free. Listen to my show, Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM, the voice of the Valley and the home of Radio Shopping Show.
Come on out to the Country Donuts, that is, at Route 20 and Nestler Road. They're always open. Donuts are made daily using only the finest ingredients to ensure freshness. Their huge variety of donuts offers something to please everyone. Country Donuts doesn't stop at offering you the best donuts. Enjoy a delicious breakfast sandwich or stop in for lunch and try a bowl of their famous chili. Need a larger or special donut order for your office? Call 847-488-1900.
Welcome back to Out to Lunch with WRMN. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I'll go ahead and turn on my cameras for you so you can see what cameras on the radio. Preposterous. No, go ahead. YouTube, right there, WRMN. You can see us. We're right here. I've got a few cameras in here. Eventually, we'll get a couple cameras for the street shot. I don't know if my Aurora friends know or not, but the river cam that we use for our YouTube side of it, because Elgin does not have a river cam, I use the city of Aurora's river cam right here. So when we go streaming and we go to the river cam, I'll go ahead and hit it over there right there. Yep, sure enough, I've got the river cam kicking over, and that is there. Elgin, what's up? I'm trying to get an Elgin river cam put together. But my friends over at Aurora, including Johnny Z and also David Debo, who is my new economic best friend, we just got done talking about the RFQ, the request for qualifications for the downtown Broadway properties of there. Now, you can go to aurora-il.org/Broadway RFQ to find more information about that. You can find the addresses for all of the different properties on Broadway, the square foot totalage, all of the different things that are out there to know about it. But the communications manager told me there's even more ways to reach out. So you thought WRMN had 5 or 6 different ways to get a hold of you. Wait till you hear what the city of Aurora has in store for you. Thank you, sir, for being here with me once again.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah, got some pretty big news. It came out about a couple of weeks ago, but so far we're doing our best to manage it and really inform the public more about it. So we appreciate you having us. Your Voice Aurora.
Hey.
Your Voice Aurora. Yeah, let's get some sound effects in there. It's a very exciting new online engagement platform that the city has launched. It's actually part one of our website redevelopment project. The goal by mid-2025 is to have a brand new state-of-the-art website at the city through our partners at Granicus. They are really the government leader in website build-out, website production, things of that nature.
Okay.
We've had a really good experience with them so far, and this is phase 1. So
Your Voice, what is it? yourvoice.aurora.il.us. And basically what you can do here, any resident or even non-resident, if they would like to, they can sign up for an account. It's free to sign up. All you need is an email and a password. And you can actually interact with projects that are ongoing in the city. So, for example, Broadway RFQ, we spent some time talking about it. So there's an idea space on the website where residents can sign up, comment their screen name or, use their screen name that they have and comment ideas about what they would want to see there. So we have some people commenting, hey, I'd like to see a sports bar or a conference center, maybe an Apple store, casual restaurant. These are all ideas.
Bowling alley, right?
Bowling alley.
Maybe I might sign up.
It's free. You can. So it's really cool. And then the sites, each page in and of itself, we add some pictures. We've added, PDFs and graphics to look at certain things. The Broadway RFQ one's really popular. And then I had mentioned to you off air, the Phillips Park Master Plan Golf Course one is extremely popular. It's the only one on the website right now that has a survey component. So we've sent out the survey, the Phillips Park staff. They've done a really good job. Jeff Schmitty's our golf course manager. He's done a good job at sending it out to Phillips Park subscribers and frequent players. And they've all filled out this survey. So what do you like about Phillips Park? What do you want to see there? Things of that nature. Over 60% of the respondents have actually been positive per Granicus.
Really?
In terms of language and in terms of how people have interacted with it. So it's been a really good positivity rate. But there are certainly improvements that people want. People have talked about maybe disc golf courses being added. They've talked about adding maybe a mini golf course or adding better amenities inside the pro shop. All of those things are important. And all of those things are things that the golf course may decide to do down the road. But it's nice to get that resident feedback, to get it directly versus our old website currently, it serves its function, but we understand and we know that we need to get something new up and running. And this engagement site, it's been a hit so far. A lot of people love interacting with it. And that's been exciting from our perspective, from communications and marketing's perspective, because we get to interact with these residents and learn more about our residents and what they really want the city to do.
That's great, because it's back to that communication side of it. We can't have compromise if I'm not communicating what I want. By all means, I can complain. That's plenty of people who like to do that, complaining. But communication is a little bit different than just like, I don't like this thing. It is what would you rather see? There's a lot of that. I get a lot of, even in my business, I'm sure a lot of people do as well, make me a sandwich. Okay, what type of sandwich? Nope, make me a sandwich, thank you. I'll be back on Friday to pick up that sandwich. Do you want it toasted? Do you want it peanut butter and jelly? Like, how am I? There's many, many sandwiches out there. I can't tailor it to you if I don't know the information behind it. And you saying, well, I don't like it. Well, okay. Well, I guess I'll just make you another sandwich. How is this sandwich? Well, I don't like it. Communicate a little bit. Let's get some details in there. How does your voice help me as a citizen not just complain? That seems to be what a lot of communication avenues are just an avenue to complain. How is this more of a interaction back and forth instead of me just dropping a note in a suggestion box somewhere?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And what makes this different than our current website or even other city websites in general is the fact that we get emails when it comes to people commenting, people leaving an idea, people taking a survey. We can respond to those people. If they have a good idea, we can say, hey, we've received it. Let's have a further discussion. That's part of it. But also, all of these projects have those different widgets, if you will. So there's those idea spaces on some of the projects. There are surveys on some of the projects. We also have a graphic on the upper right-hand corner of each project that shows you name and contact information for who is running that project, who is facilitating it. So for the Garfield Park, or for the Phillips Park and the Garfield Park renovation projects, we have our director of our superintendent of Parks and Recreation, Gio Santana. His information's there. You got a question? Hey, email Gio directly.
That's amazing.
It's not difficult now for people to figure out, okay, who's doing what, who's the right person I need to talk to, because that's been a complaint that we fielded before on our current website, right? So we're trying to find a way to make it easier for the public to interact with the people who represent them, and at the same time have that transparency aspect so they know, okay, I know this person, there's a picture there, right? There's a face, I know this person's working on this project. If I have a question or suggestion, I can reach out, but nevertheless, it's not a faceless person or a faceless entity. I know who this is, and if I have any questions at all, I could reach out to him or her.
It's the to whom it may concern paradox, right?
Right.
So if I get that email and say, well, to whom it may concern, well, it doesn't concern me. Crumple, crumple, throw in trash. It's the same, or the basket suggestion box, right? I'll file it in my circular file that just happens to have a plastic bag in the middle of it. Don't feel that I'm putting you aside. Or the over mountain of mail that you guys would get if it was only one hose, right? If it was only one place that everything was coming into. What it seems like that this yourvoice.aurora.il.us, if you want to try it out there, what it seems like is it's more of a targeted type of thing. Nowadays, when I call a business, I get the automation or I get somebody, and then they tell me where to go. If I just stay on hold until somebody answers, then it's back to the who it may concern. Oh, no, you need this department. Oh, well, why did somebody send you over here? We need to send you over here. So my willingness to communicate may start to dwindle as my frustration of trying to get to the person to communicate. And then by the time I've jumped through all of these hoops, then it is, okay, well, now it's time for me to complain. First off, of how long it took me to get to you. Secondly, my actual complaint. Or maybe I forgot about what it was by the time it gets there. What you're saying is your voice is more about a open dialogue between the person who is in charge of that specific thing and you who have a specific issue about that. I don't need to be complaining about dog catchers just to everybody. I need to go to the actual animal control side and say, hey, this is what happened.
I couldn't agree more. And the problem that you describe is what we're trying to eliminate with this site and then with the new website in general. This is phase one of it. We're trying to let people know that, no, you don't have to be on hold, or no, if you can't reach somebody, that's okay. Why don't you go to the website, and there is a person. There are 3 people, in fact, on pretty much every project that we have listed.
Wow.
And this site is an engagement site specifically regarding ongoing projects in the city. So whether it comes to construction and engineering related things, economic development sorts of things, parks and recreation, the golf course, all of these things that are ongoing that may need public feedback, right? That may talk about a public information meeting coming up, that may have diagrams or boards from past meetings. That way the public could always access them in case they couldn't make the meeting. All of these things are trying to amplify the public's voice and give them a true voice. That's why it's called Your Voice. It's your voice, and it's your ability to reach everybody easier and to have the opportunity to interact with everybody at City Hall.
There it is, yourvoice.aurora.il.us. That's your, Y-O-U-R, voice, V-O-I-C-E, .aurora, A-U-R-O-R-A.il.us. Those are the places to go. Those are the things to check out. I really appreciate the two of you coming in today. It was a blast having such a great intellectual conversation and hearing about the future of the city of Aurora. Thanks for coming in. If there's anything else, you guys are welcome in anytime.
Thank you.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
Oh, absolutely. No, that's it. The communications director, Johnny Z, was here for us as well. We also made a new economic friend today. That would be David Debo, and that is the City of Aurora's executive director of the Mayor's Office of Economic Development, the CAEDMOED. David Debo. Really appreciate you guys both being on today. This has been Out to Lunch, WRMN, and continue for more for the radio shopping side, WRMN1410.com, or listen to Deals, the Drive Time Deals with Matt McNeil starting at 3 o'clock. We'll see you tomorrow.
Do you